It is so critical to know who you are and to know who you are on a spiritual level, like beyond your body, beyond your physical, cellular, genetic makeup. Who are you on a soul level? Because that is what's going to bring you through this time and this transformation that you're about to have. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to The Inner Voice, the podcast where we explore the journey of spiritual growth, healing, and self-discovery. I'm Samantha, your guide and fellow traveler on this path of awakening. Today's episode is all about connecting with your highest self. What does it mean to tap into that most authentic, aligned, and divine version of you? How can this connection bring clarity, peace, and purpose into your life? If you've ever wondered how to access that inner wisdom or feel more aligned with who you truly are, this episode is for you. Grab a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's dive into what it really means to connect with your highest self and how you can start living in harmony with that part of you every single day. Hi, you guys. Welcome. This is so exciting. It has been a long time coming. This has been like a 5-year idea, and I feel like I'm finally grounded with the clarity to speak. And I happen to be 22 weeks pregnant right now, and it's just like, really, I chose now, but it's almost like this sweet serendipitous time in my life where I feel like maybe my baby is grounding me back into reality for a little while. Just to catch you guys up, I spent the last 3 years trying really, really hard to become this overnight coach. What I was really being drawn to was just sharing my story, like doing this storytelling and sharing my journey of finding authenticity just so that I can inspire it. And that's the whole point. If you are on this journey of self-discovery, you're going to take a lot of twists and turns and pivots, and that's all part of it. I think the main thing and the bottom line is to be kind to yourself and to be compassionate, to remember that you've never done this before, and to also give yourself credit, celebrate the actual awareness that you have and the desire that you have to be creative and to be authentic. So anyway, I'm really, really excited to get this off the ground and going, and I have a whole bunch to share with you guys. But first, right now, we are in such a pivotal time in human history where we are starting to know more and more about ourselves. Information is coming at us quick. We have access to so much information, and a lot of it is so out there, so future, and yet we are experiencing the contrast, which is our physical reality, where it can really pull us in both directions and kind of like split us into a million pieces. So right now, it's the end of January 2025 when I'm recording this. So there's a lot of like government stuff going on. There's a lot of revelations of what's going on in real life. And basically the truth is coming to surface. You cannot hide anything anymore because of the media, because of social media. We have access to everything. The whole point in me saying all of this is that it is so critical to know who you are and to know who you are on a spiritual level, like beyond your body, beyond your physical, cellular, genetic makeup. Who are you on a soul level? Because that is what's going to bring you through this time, this experience, and this transformation that you're about to have. And if you're listening, if you're tuning into this, you probably already are on a transformation. You probably already are on this journey of self-discovery, of wanting to know what your higher self is, if you're listening to this. And I'm going to say, not everybody is going to resonate with it. Not everybody is going to want to hear this, and that is okay. Everyone will evolve in the way they're supposed to in their own time. And that is perfect. Everyone and everything serves just as it is, okay? So I went on this spiritual transformation, and it all pretty much began with my first pregnancies. And I'm going to also bring you along this journey of my whole transformation into motherhood as well. But right now, today, we're focusing on specifically the higher self and how to harness that, how to access that, and how to bring clarity and purpose into your own life. But it all ties in together for me in the past few years becoming a mom because I really had this kind of like just this spark of, hold on, I am becoming a mom. I'm going to start raising these humans and I can't bullshit this. I cannot half ass this. And I am going to promise myself, for the sake of my children, to be the truest version of me and the highest, most greatest potential of me. And right now, back then, the life that I was living, kind of like in autopilot, but in a bad way, like kind of just going through the motions and doing what was expected and almost just like being a shell of a person, I was not fulfilled. And this is not to say I made, a mistake in anything. It all serves as a part of my journey. And I would not have come to this point in my life without having experiencing those things. So this is not to say that I've made a bunch of mistakes and like I shouldn't have done that. And at that point, I just thought to myself, I have to find out who I am and why the hell I'm here. And that is when I started learning about the higher self and how to access this version of me that already exists. In doing so, I went down this rabbit hole of spirituality, but all I did in learning all those things was come back to the same truth that what we are composed of as a being is infinite light. It is so divine, and each of us are so unique and powerful. We're actually made of the same material as the stars. We're basically the same material of the stars condensed into human form. And I'm still going down a rabbit hole, but if we can apply this to our reality in a way where we can now integrate the spirit and everything we know about the spirit, which we'll never stop learning and knowing about because it's infinite. But if we can know everything we can about spirit, then that would mean that we are knowing everything we know about ourselves. And if we can do that, if we have the actual means to do that, then one, why not? And two, that means that we can manifest our wildest, most greatest potential, AKA make our dreams a reality. This is going to be a really wild and exciting journey for me to share my story and to be an example of that slow and steady transformation. And I'm here to let you know it's going to take time. I'm here to walk through it with you and to just be like a little bestie that is going through the same things you're going through. So, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I want to just take a communal breath in unison right now and just be in gratitude for this moment. And I want to inspire you to open your heart and reflect on your own experience and your own connection to what I'm about to talk about and set the intention of just knowing yourself more, connecting deeply to your truth, and unlocking this clarity and purpose that's already within you. Okay? So, nice deep breath. Let's do it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, what is your highest self? Your highest self is your most authentic, intuitive, and aligned version of you. And here's how I see the hierarchy of spirit, okay? So there's God, then there's your higher self, This means that your highest self is like the closest thing to God. There are angels, there are guides, there are loved ones, there are fairies, there are dragons, trust. There's everything, right? We'll get into all of it. But this is why I'm opening up with the highest self, because your highest self is that version of you that is super close to God, our creator. And I'm going to be talking about God a lot. And I used to actually cringe at the word God. And I'm going to be completely honest with you because this is all part of my journey. And I get this feeling that some of you can relate because I think collectively we have all kind of been through like this religious confusion. And, you know, I can just sense, I know a lot of people around me, even like in my day to day random conversations with acquaintances, like people I barely know, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm not religious. I'm just choosing not to be religious. And I'm like, bro, this is not to talk shit. This is not to cause any more division. This is actually my purpose is to bring us all back to one understanding, to consciousness. And the more we can talk about it in a non-binary way where we're not separating ourselves from God or separating ourselves from each other, the more we can actually come back to this idea of oneness where we're not different, we're not separated, and if we are casting judgment on anybody else, we're only casting judgment on ourselves. I heard it today. People will only meet you as far as they're willing to meet themselves. I grew up, personally, me being so obsessed with God, okay? Always knew there was a God, like the Heavenly Father. I always felt this energy strongly in my life, but I didn't feel a strong connection to the way I practiced. It did not completely click. And here's where I don't want people to think like, I'm just talking like defensively because it's like my inner wound of like fearing that people will like judge me. It's like that Catholic guilt, right? Where you think that you're not doing it right or you're sinning, the whole sin idea. This is where understanding the highest self, it gives you this language around your actual potential connection to God as being not actually separated from God, but an extension of God, where you can turn to your higher self as your higher wisdom, because that version of you actually exists somewhere in the future. In the future, guys. Light years and light years and light years away. This version of me exists, and this version of me has a higher level of consciousness just because they live there, okay? And that version of me is in essence closer to source. But in essence, that version of me is me. You get it? Okay, we're going to break it down, but I'm trying to kind of just give it to you in bite-sized pieces. And the main point is that this divine wisdom, love, and truth is the part that you're connecting with when you are connecting to your highest self. So we're going to try and integrate it all and make it this big, beautiful, full circle of your experience. We all have a different journey, but we're all kind of getting to the same place, which is home to ourselves, to our heart. And here we are walking each other home just simply by being ourselves and taking up space. And that is what the highest self is. When you are in alignment, you will know because you'll feel peace, you'll feel clarity, you'll feel purpose. You're acting with compassion, with courage. You make intuitive decisions and flow easily. How many of you are there right now and can say that you're consistently there? No, guys, it's a journey. Like, it is not that easy. But again, the conversation and bringing awareness around it and figuring out the steps, having this fundamental idea of what it is, we'll help each other, okay? And then the contrast is, what are the signs that you're disconnected? You're stuck, you're anxious or reactive. You're struggling with self-doubt or indecision. That is not your highest self. So it kind of sounds like common sense, but it helps to break it down. Because once you keep practicing, and it can help you in your day to day of like, okay, where am I operating from? Is this my highest self? What would my highest self say? Like it kind of takes that disconnect between you and the divine, honestly. This goes into the next question. Why connect with your highest self? Here are the benefits. Obvious, but let's just talk about it. You get access to deeper clarity and purpose. You get greater resilience in challenges. You are healing emotional wounds and releasing limiting beliefs, strengthening your ability to trust your intuition. So let me go back to healing emotional wounds and releasing limiting beliefs, because this is something that I could not conceptualize before. Without this understanding and like full acceptance of who you are, you almost don't look at your wounds because you're almost just bypassing them. Like, I could pray it away or ask God, let me ask God to take away these wounds. This is where we're connecting ourselves to the divine and empowering ourselves and looking at every angle of ourselves. Instead of bypassing it, we're healing it. We're facing it and confronting it. And part of becoming and embodying our highest self is healing those parts of us, those limiting beliefs. Because those limiting beliefs are things that are actually holding us back from achieving this state of bliss, this embodiment of truth. So those are the benefits. And from a spiritual perspective, your highest self is the bridge between your earthly experience and your divine essence. So there is no separation. It is the actual bridge. Imagine that feeling of just knowing. It's like this aha, this is the whole reason why I'm here and talking about it, because it is so profound. It can be such a healing experience for you to tap into this. All right, so let us quickly talk about how to recognize the voice of your highest self. Here are its characteristics. Your highest self is gentle, yet firm. They're like, no, no, no. My highest self talks to me in the way that it resonates to me. She'll be like, girl, or she even call me the B word. Here's the difference. She's not calling me a bitch and calling me stupid. She is always rooted in love and compassion and never fear. When you're talking bad to yourself or doubting yourself, that is from a state of fear. And your highest self brings you a sense of calm and knowing, even if it challenges you. There are obviously blocks to hearing it. It took me a long time to really connect to this part of me. Once you tap into the highest self, you will continue to be tested and brought through lessons to remind you of your power. Okay. And common blocks that we'll go through is overthinking, fear-based mental chatter, disconnection from your own body or emotions. You can literally dissociate if things are too painful or too hard, like facing those limiting beliefs. You can literally just become a different person and not want to even fathom the highest self. You're just like, go away. And this is part of the journey. And then, of course, we have external influences overshadowing your inner voice. It's really, really hard because human primal nature is to want to feel loved and belong. Like, we want to belong here. And when we start feeling like someone is not going to approve of us, then we will immediately keep ourselves safe. And this will block us from hearing our own intuition sometimes. Now let's talk about the practices to connect to your highest self. This is something I'm going to stress over and over, and I'm still learning how to keep this consistent. But number one is meditation. I started off with guided meditations. There is this hypnosis meditation called Abundance that really kicked off my meditation journey. From then, I went here, there, and everywhere, doing mantras, doing guided meditations, just listening to binaural beats and just like being in silence, literally just staring at a candle. There are so many ways to meditate, and it doesn't necessarily have to be sitting. You can be walking, you can be burping. You can be drawing or painting or playing music, but it's something that brings you into that theta state of relaxation where your mind is really relaxed and focused on nothing. It's just in this flow. That is meditation. A lot of people use prayers, repetitive prayers, but it is a really, really important part of understanding and knowing your higher self. The stillness is the practice because we are so in this quick gratification, just wanting things so fast. It's really, really important to meditate. There's no replacement for it. And honestly, once you get into this practice, you will notice when you don't meditate for a day or for 2 days because you're not going to feel good. But it feels really good to get into that theta state or whatever you want to call it, that calm state regularly, because when you are living your normal life and going about your day, you have more resilience and you just have more space to process things, and you're not reacting, you're not getting emotional, you're not overthinking, but you have more space. And that is what meditation is creating in your brain. It's actual neuroscience, you guys, okay? Like there's a reason why people do this and why it's encouraged so much. And the truth is that you can't really make a lot of money from meditation. So I feel like that's why it's not talked about a lot. And like, I mean, even Kobe Bryant talked about it. Like he meditated every morning, 10 minutes every morning. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but 10 minutes can be a long time in silence. And you don't know until you try it. And there's a difference between knowing and doing. And you can say like, okay, I'm going to try it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. But you guys try it right now. Like when you stop listening to this and see how long it takes. If you haven't done it, like 10 minutes is a long time, but it can make a world of a difference to your nervous system and to the way you go about your day. It will be the foundation of you tapping into your higher self. Another practice, number 2, is journaling. Journaling brings everything from your head to your heart, to your hands, to paper. It makes it real. It makes you feel heard. It makes you feel seen. You get to read it. You get to see what's going on in your head and your heart. And it is a great way to just clear out the clutter sometimes. Once you get in the habit of just writing freehand, just automatic writing, you can see what's going on in your head. And we are all channels of spirit. When we do the meditation, when we do the journaling, in essence, we're channeling, and we can get divine downloads from our higher self, whether it's on paper or not. Writing it down helps to see. Like right now I'm getting visions of my journaling from 2019 where I said, I need to write a podcast. Like I need to do a podcast. I need to do this. And like, dude, it's 2025. Like that's 6 years later, like, but the thing is like, I saw it, I felt it. And despite taking this long, which it isn't even a long time, I need to give myself a break. But despite the journey, it still happened. And I can go back to those and be like, look what I wrote, and you'll get these intuitive hits. And it's really, really cool to go back and look at it. And it doesn't even have to be that elaborate. You could just be journaling just to get the thoughts out of your mind. And a lot of us have racing thoughts. A lot of us don't even have an outlet. So I highly, highly recommend this, okay, to journal. Breath work is the third practice. Breath work this is just part of life, okay? You need to breathe, and a lot of people are not doing that. I said it before, but the word spirit in Latin means the breath. Like, yo, that is powerful enough for you to know that when you connect to your breath, you're connecting to your spirit. When you tie all of these together, meditation, journaling, and breath work, that is like the trifecta right there. Okay. Like when you're meditating, you breathe, right? And like they kind of go hand in hand. When your thoughts start racing, your breath can actually move them away, move your thoughts away. And it gives you a focus point. It gives you the reminder that you're in your body and that you are in full control of your body. and that this is your body. It gives you this body awareness. It just helps you center yourself and quiet your mind. So I highly recommend breathwork. And breathwork is literally a fancy word of just saying breathe, breathe. If you want to get into this really no frills breathwork practice, Wim Hof. Okay, I'm just going to say that right now. Wim Hof. YouTube. It's like, I don't know how long it is, maybe 20 minutes, but he basically is this Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter that teaches breathwork, and he's a character. But if you are not ready for the mantras, this guy will just help you breathe. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And it is a really great start to breathwork. That's what got me started. Other practices are intuitive rituals, connecting through sacred tools like crystals, oracle cards, or essential oils. I really do like crystals. Right now, I'm sitting next to a pyrite. It just helps me connect to, they're like pure minerals of the earth. It helps you ground to the earth, helps you ground to the energy that it comes from. Oracle cards, yes, as well. Those help you connect to the messages from spirit and essentially from your higher self. Essential oils. I'm actually sitting next to an essential oil spray right now from Melaleuca, which is one of my brand partners I haven't really talked about yet. Essential oils are another tool that help you connect to the earth. And then creating a dedicated space for reflection or prayer is very helpful too. Even if it's just a spot on your couch, creating a dedicated space. So even when I was back and forth moving places and homes, like it can feel really sucky to not have your own space, but you can even just create a corner near your nightstand and have a little candle, have a crystal, whatever resonates with you. And that can be your place to meditate, journal, and do your breath work. And then a couple embodiment exercises. When you're in the middle of a choice or a challenge, you can ask yourself, what would my highest self do? If you are triggered, it can be very helpful for you, life-changing for you to ask yourself, what would my highest self do? And then it's just important to know that mindfulness and being aware of all of these practices, bringing awareness to your actions throughout the day can change your day so drastically. Okay, so let's talk about the real life transformation through your highest self. Your highest self can be your guide in every area of your life. And this is why it's so important to know what it is so we can cultivate more authenticity. Because it truly is hard to be authentic sometimes. We don't have the best guide, generally speaking. We're trying all very hard, but now we have the tools. And here we are, knowing more and more, cultivating the relationships. So for me, in my personal life, I felt like there needed to be more boundaries. And I was a people pleaser. I could not set a boundary. My life depended on it, and I could not do it. And I had to kind of go through this destruction, like this whole crumbling of my life in order for me to figure out how to do that. And this is where my highest self came in and gave me that guidance. Even though my human doesn't know how to communicate, my soul knows what I want. And so the more I would practice trying to express that, trying to express what I would gather from my highest version of me, even though sometimes it would look really ugly, okay, like neurotic. The fact was that I was still honoring that highest self, that highest version. And so therefore, the subconscious mind sees it as effort towards that purpose, towards that vibration of the highest self, instead of you playing safe and staying in your lower vibration of limiting beliefs. In setting boundaries, even those boundaries sound bad, like it sounds like, oh, you're creating a wall, it's actually creating safety in your relationship because you're creating a safe space for yourself to be your truest self. When you show up truer in your relationship, this is of service to you and your partner and whoever else you're in relation with, your friends, your family, your kids, because then they get to witness and experience this more authentic version of you. It cultivates a deeper connection with your relationships. Number 2 is career. This is a huge thing because career, a lot of times it's who you are. People define themselves through their career. The highest self gives you the guidance and the divine wisdom of who you truly are, reminding you that you are not defined by your career and that you can actually create and contain all the multitudes of who you are and still be a contributing human in this society. But when you tap into this higher self, you're pursuing your purpose. You have clarity to your purpose. You're healing yourself, all the parts of you that didn't know what your purpose was. And then you start creating aligned decisions. This is your dream life, okay? Everyone has one and everyone is entitled to it. Everyone has the ability to attain it. This is real life transformation. It is a journey and it will keep going and going. And that's what makes it fun. But it's part of the experience, is the evolution. And this is where number 3, personal growth through your higher self releases your self-doubt and embraces your authenticity. You don't have to live by anybody else's guidelines but your own. Now, does that mean go and do whatever you want and neglect the physical reality? No, I'm not saying that. There is a sweet spot of integrating it. And it might not always feel like a sweet spot. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first. But the more you step into it, the more you embody it. And it gets better and better and better. It's important to know this part of you because you can be fully aware of the depth and beauty of who you are. And you deserve that. So to close, I just want to reflect on these questions. And you can write these down. You can kind of just think about this while you're listening. But let's come into the space of reflection right now, okay? Ask yourself, what does my highest self look and feel like? What small step can I take today to connect to my highest self? Let's go back to that first question. What does my highest self look and feel like? Because this is really important. The physical act of you stepping into it, even if it's a tiny step, we're going to go get into the tiny step to connect to your highest self. If you can access this future version of you, okay, just like I can, because she comes to me in my visions. What does she look like? What is she wearing? And what does she feel like? You can already feel your posture change. You can already figure out what her clothes look like and how you can kind of shift your wardrobe a little bit. Okay, you can have that now. And then ask yourself, what small step can I take today to connect to my highest self? Can I be more hydrated? Can I go take a walk outside? Can I sit up taller and speak nicer to myself? Can I wear that really powerful feeling turtleneck that makes me feel good? Whatever. This is your call to action. I want you to try one of the practices that I shared, whether it's meditation, journaling, or breath work. Just try one of them, okay? I want you to share your experience with me on social or leave a review here. Let me know how it went. I don't want you to feel alone on this journey, but I really want to encourage you. You can do it. You can do one of them. Any resources too that I recommend, I'll leave them here in the notes as well. So here's a final thought. Your highest self is always there, ready to guide you. All it takes is your willingness to listen. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. I cannot wait to hear more about your journey, how this resonates, and I can't wait to walk through this with you. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Inner Voice. I hope today's conversation brought you clarity, inspiration, and deeper alignment on your journey. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share your insights, tag me on social media, or leave a review. It truly means the world and helps this message reach more souls who need it. Remember, your inner voice is your greatest guide. Trust it, follow it, and let it lead you to your highest self. Until next time, stay aligned, stay grounded, and keep listening within. Sending you love and light always.